So we've seen all the MAGA cheds out here with all of their talking points about tariffs and taxes and all of these things. And, they make their little videos saying people who can't afford to pay their student loans are now experts on the stock market. And the party of Eat the Rich is now defending the rich. And they always follow it up with Donald Trump is playing chess, not checkers. And one of their main talking points is that Donald Trump, with his tariffs, one of the reasons why he's doing this with his tariffs is to eliminate income tax in the United States. And so that so that none of us have to pay income tax in the United States. We'll fund the government through tariffs, which is a tax on consumers. But that's neither here nor there. And they're cheering that on. Like, yeah, who doesn't want to not pay taxes? And as with everything, I mean, just they're cheering for their own demise, and they're cheering against their own interests, because it's a way for the 1%, the millionaire and billionaire class, to not pay income taxes. They barely pay any taxes as it is, but they want that number to be zero. And Donald Trump has also spoken frequently of having a flat tax, meaning just, on whatever the number is, 5% for federal taxes that's tacked on to every single thing that you purchase. And which is incredibly regressive, and which shifts the tax burden from the 1% to the bottom 90%. Because the wealthy end up paying a disproportionately smaller amount of actual taxes because they don't purchase that many things. Whereas we're out there buying stuff every single day just to survive and just to get by. And it's like, we used to have a thing in this country called marginal tax rates, where it's like, say there's a tax system set up where if you earn $5 million a year, you pay a tax percentage that's roughly commensurate with other Americans, might be slightly elevated. But anything that you earn over $5 million per year is taxed at 80 or 90%. And marginal tax rates were in place in this country at those levels during the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. That's in large part, that's how we built the middle class in this country. That's how we sent GIs from World War II to college and helped them buy houses. That's how we paid for our nation's highway system that was built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. That's how we paid for all these things, was very high marginal tax rates. Well, the rich people got together and decided they didn't like that. And led largely by the Koch brothers, Koch, who started working on this in earnest in the 70s. When Ronald Reagan got elected in 1980, he eliminated those marginal tax rates, thus beginning a transfer of $50 trillion in wealth from everyday people like us to the 1% over the next 45 years. And this is all a scheme to relieve the 1% of all of their tax burden, and not just transfer all of their tax burden to us, but to continue their cash grab of transferring wealth from us to them. That's the driving principle behind every economic policy from the Trump administration. And I see the MAGA cheds out here just cheering it on because they think they're not going to get tax on their tips. And they think that Elon Musk is going to send them a check for $5,000. So again, Donald Trump is a symptom. The disease is the fact that a majority of our electorate are gullible morons who are easily manipulated by right-wing media.